Hello, this is Jess, and this is the second half of my video looking at finding stuff for literature reviews. So in my first video I showed you that I had a question looking at forest schools and their impact on children's well-being. I looked at the keywords in the question and I found some synonyms, and then I went to my library catalogue, to my library discovery service. I must say once again, this is me using my university's discovery service, so this is the stuff we have access to in my university. Everyone's will be different, everyone's libraries are different, and I'm in no way representing the views of the University of Huddersfield in doing this video. So I found myself a useful journal article. I'm going to look at this one by Liz O'Brien, Learning Outdoors Forest School Approach. It's from 2009, so it's not massively old. There is some debate about how old you should go. Again, that's a question I get asked a lot by my students, like how old am I allowed to have journal articles? I think it really depends on your subject and what you're looking at. And I don't think that having something from 2009 is in any way that old. If it's a year that I can remember, it's not that long ago. Anyway, so I found this useful thing. And now I want to expand on my finding this. I'm going to go, and I like to call this forwards and backwards approach. So this is what it looks like here. I'm just going to get rid of these cookies. Yes, I accept cookies. I have no alternative to accept cookies. This is from Taylor and Francis online. Because I've already signed in to my university library discovery service, I can access it. Your library may be different. It may be that you have to sign in separately to things. I don't know. Speak to your librarian if you're not sure. We have a one-stop sign-on thing, so we can do that. It's quite easy. I can go down the page. Now, every single journal database is going to look completely different. They're all different companies. They've all got completely different websites, but they all should have more or less the same things on them. So there should be some way of reading the full text of the article if your university is paid for that. So here you see I have a PDF which I can download and print off and do what I like to. If you like to print them off, that is fine. I prefer to do that because I like paper. It usually tells you everything that you need to know when you're going to reference the article. Should be fairly obvious. So you've got your author, you have when it was published, received and accepted. Don't worry about that. Look for the date it was published, and if I look at the PDF of the article, this is what it would look like if it was printed in an actual journal rather than just being online as most of them now are. And you see here it says to cite this article 2009, so that's the date that you would use. The DOI, this is the number that the computer uses to recognise the article. It's like an ISBN but for online things. The title of the journal should be somewhere as well. I'm just going to have a look. Yeah, that's at the top there. The volume, the issue, all that sort of stuff. Also on this page, I'm just going to look down here, it also quite handily gives you some keywords, and you notice how these are hyperlinks. I'll get onto those in a second, but the first thing I'm going to look at, once I've read the article, I might want to look at what that article has referenced. So it may be that stuff that comes up in that article's literature review, if it has one, you can highlight and say, right, I definitely want to look that up. But have a look at the reference list anyway. In this example, you can see here it says references quite clearly. If I click on that link there, it comes up, and see how I've now got a list of stuff. Now, the references is the stuff that this article, so O'Brien 2009, this article has referenced, okay? If you see it's a blue line, that's usually a hyperlink, so you can usually click on that straight away. Let's just give it a go. And usually that will connect you straight to the thing that it's referenced. Hopefully this is going to work. Let's have a look. Right. I don't know what that says, if I'm honest. You may. If you do, let me know. But that may or may not be useful to you. Let's go back and try one that is in a language I know. See if that one works. Yeah, so this one annoyingly hasn't opened in a new tab. I prefer it when it does, but you see how this one is a different article by a different person. And this is something that they have, O'Brien from 2009 has referenced, so this is from 2006, so it's a little bit later. But that might be useful for you, looking and seeing what they've also looked at. And that's an easy way of expanding your search. You can also look for citations. Now, not all journal databases have this, and if they do, not all of them make it completely obvious. So citations are here. These are the things that have referenced this article. So these are articles that were written after this one, which means they're usually a little bit more up to date, but they have referenced this. So they're doing what you're doing, really. And this is really useful because, especially if it's an older text and you're looking for more up-to-date figures, but also academia is an argument. It's like a conversation that goes on forever. So imagine like a Facebook message chat, but really, really goes on forever, and you can opt in and opt out whenever you like, and you can always jump forward and jump back to see where people have answered questions or what have you. That's basically what academia is. It's just having a really long conversation. So this is like the next step in the chain. So if you were to reference one of these articles, you would be the final step. So you see here, these are from 2016, and those are therefore really up to date. I mean, it's 2016 now, so you can't really get more up to date than that. And if you look here, exploring young children's cognitive play opportunities in natural manufactures and mixed outdoor preschool zones, that might be really useful in looking at a child's well-being, because you could therefore say one of your themes is that it encourages children to be imaginative, and you could say that imagination is good for the well-being, and you can find a theory to prove that. So let's have a little look at that. Oh look, here we go, I've got it. And I can access it straight away and get a PDF. Fantastic. And again, with this one, do exactly the same thing. Of course, this is from 2016, so nobody's cited it as of yet. You might be the first one to cite it, but it's got its references there, so you can go through and look and see what this article's looked at. So you may see that it comes up with the same sort of references as the other one, but it might be completely different ones that you would have never otherwise found. So by going forwards and backwards, I'm going to go back to the original O'Brien article. Going forwards and backwards, when you're looking for things, you can have a more well-rounded view of an argument. You can also follow like a chain of thought as it goes along and as it's written about, often sometimes in the same journal, which is really interesting, because sometimes arguments can be played out in journals where they've been extremely polite to each other, but you can tell that, when they get home, they're all really angry and cross, and that's good. If you look at this site, other things it's telling you here, citations again, this is another thing that does citations. And we'll say as well, when you're looking for citations, look in more than one place, which I'm going to do now, because not all databases talk to each other, including library ones, which I know I'm going to get my hand slapped for saying, because it's a big librarian secret, but you can look in more than one place for citations to this. So what I'm going to do, I'm first of all going to look in Scopus. I'm just going to copy the title for ease, and remember the author is O'Brien with an E. So I'm going to go to Scopus. Scopus, I'm just going to close that one down. Scopus here. This is a database we have access to at Huddersfield. Whether or not you will, I don't know. But this database looks up citations and is really, really useful for that. You can choose by article title, as you can by most databases. I'm just going to pop that in. I have no idea if this will happen. No, it doesn't. That's annoying. So yeah, Scopus wasn't so helpful there. But if I can find an example, let's go back and look at Liz O'Brien. Okay, so if I go back to Scopus, you can also do author searches here. I'm just going to see if I can find her. I probably won't if she's not there. We can have a look. But again, searching, you're not going to find everything first time. Oh look, I've got Liz O'Brien, and she's from Farnham Forest Research. I wonder if that's the same woman. Let's have a look. It may not be. It may be somebody completely different. But we can have a look at her by clicking on her profile. Oh, social sciences and medicine. Well, probably is a completely different woman. But look, how to engage children with nature. Why not just let them play? So you can see that this probably is the same woman if she's talking about children and nature and forest schools, and that's kind of useful. So you could maybe look at them, and you would never have found that if you hadn't looked for that author. So use all the databases, use all the catalogues, use everything that you've got. That's fine. When I'm searching, I will use 3 or 4 or 5 different databases in conjunction with each other and swap between tabs, and it does look a little bit scary and it can look a little bit overawing, but this is how you're going to find stuff. I would never have found this if I hadn't done that, and that might be something really, really useful for me later on. Another thing you can use is Google Scholar. I'm just going to do the title again. I'm also going to put it in speech marks. This is something I should have mentioned before. This is called phrase searching. If you put something in speech marks, it looks for the whole phrase within the speech marks. It's a bit like maths. If you put something in brackets, that's the thing it looks for first. And that will then show me, let me have a look, here we go. And you see I've got cited by 45 there. That's the first one. If I go back to my original one here, and I look at citations, and I can't scroll down, there's quite a lot, but there's a lot less than 45. Now, there might be many reasons for this. It may be that not all of these are academic journals. It may be that not all of these are relevant to you. But let's have a look. Maybe. Books. Some of them might be books. Be wary of that because Google Books doesn't show the whole thing. I would always try and find a real copy of a book rather than you just use Google Books if I were you. But you can see that there's loads of stuff on the influence of the outdoor environment and how it works. So that might be useful for you as well. You can also, with this, search within citing articles. So you see it says here, search within citing articles. If you click on that box and then go up to my search box, if I put well-being in that, which is what I was looking at, here we go. These are stuff that cited my original article that has the word well-being in it. Interesting. Not so much for me, but I'm just going to try it with well-being. Aha! Now, this might be good because well-being has 2 words. And I haven't been doing that in my searching. So, I'm going to go back to my original search now, and I'm going to put well-being in here. And because these are 2 words that I want to have next to each other, I'm going to put little boxes around them. In fact, I'm going to do the same with forest school. Now, you don't have to do this with some search engines because they recognise that they are words that are commonly put together. Let's go back, and I'm just going to go back to the top. Now, notice I've got 144,000 odd there. If I do another search there, 23. Well, that's a lot less, isn't it? How interesting. And you see here I've got my Liz O'Brien article, so that's definitely one I would use. And here you go. You've got a lot more results that you could use from your original result. And that's because I later on, using Google Scholar, using a completely different database, said, ooh, maybe I'm looking at the wrong words. So the point I'm trying to make to you is that you can go forwards, you can go backwards, you can use all these databases, you learn as you go. Research should be an exploratory process and you should learn through things, and it can be quite scary, but it should be scary because what you're doing is finding stuff out, and that's terrifying. But by using all of these tools and by looking around and being clever in how you search, you can find stuff that you're looking for, and you can also have some fun on the way. I really enjoy searching. I really enjoy finding articles and finding information out because I think that if you go to university and you have access to these things, and they do cost a lot of money, there's a massive debate about whether they should or not. I'm not going to go into that now. But you should use what you've paid for and what we've paid for, and you should enjoy that feeling of being able to find stuff out. So, go back. This catalogue here, this is fantastic. I can now go away. I've got 23 results there. I've got 45 odd there. I've got more here. I've got Liz Bryan's articles that I've got off Scopus. And along the way, I've had a lot of fun. And I've learnt something. So, yeah. Just go for it and ask your librarians, ask for help if you're not sure, because that's what their job is to help you. And good luck with your dissertations, and just have fun. Okay, thank you for watching the videos, and bye for now.